Hey everybody, welcome. This is Jill Trotterman with Feeding the Family, streaming live on Santa Cruz Voice from Santa Cruz, California. So, can herbal plant medicine really address everyday common health issues like building immunity, fighting colds and flu, calming stress, or balancing hormones, while addressing also more serious concerns? Well, people around the globe say a resounding yes. Herbal medicine has been used for thousands of years and continues to be used worldwide as a steadfast tool for healing and promoting wellness. Today, we are exploring the exciting role herbs play with Sue George and Molly DeMassa of Benedictine Herbs, right here, based in Santa Cruz, California. In the U.S., we have about 30 to 35% of all people using herbal medicine in some capacity, and even more are using integrative medicine. With thousands of different plants used from around the world, herbs are treated as a valuable medicine in many healing traditions, and they definitely are standing the test of time in human health. So I'm so excited to have these two fabulous healers, practitioners with us in the studio. So welcome, you guys.
Hi.
Hi. Thank
Hi.
you for having us.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to see you. Let me share a little bit more about you folks, okay?
Yeah.
So Sue George joined Benedictine in 2013, and she helped bring emphasis on customer care and community-related outreach and educational programs. And her passion for the healing arts has connected her with a wide spectrum of extraordinary healers and healing modalities over the past few decades. And Molly DeMassa is one of those amazing healing practitioners. So we're very blessed to have her as part of the Benedictine family. And she is Benedictine's education specialist. She's also an acupuncturist. And Molly brings awareness about the various formulas. And we're going to get into all these amazing formulas in just a bit, you guys. And Molly assists practitioners with questions related to specific health concerns with an emphasis on traditional Chinese medicine. So these two ladies are a wealth of knowledge, and I'm blessed to have you folks here. Thank you.
We're blessed to be here. Thank you for having us.
For sure. So I understand that I've seen your products around for decades. And the founder of this, I think, is past, but she has really done a phenomenal job with setting up this practice or company, I suppose.
Both.
So do you guys want to jump in to share a little bit about Benedictine herbs and the product line? And we're going to talk about immune building and how we can support families and people's wellness. We're going to talk about acupuncture and all kinds of other fun things.
Sure.
So let's start off on this great business.
Well, you mentioned that Martha may have passed away. She did. She passed away in December of 2012. And at the time, I had just found my way to acupuncture. So I was really looking forward to meeting her. I unfortunately didn't meet her because she passed away a couple weeks after I got up here, sadly. And I began working with her husband, who's an amazing force. If it wasn't for David, we probably wouldn't be here right now and advocating for acupuncturists and East Asian medicine. So it was, it's been a blessing to be able to be a shepherd and a steward of these products and be just, as supportive to the healing arts community here as I possibly can while trying to make change in the acupuncture industry as a whole. So
that's terrific. So Dr. Benedict.
Martha Benedict, Dr. Benedict, yep.
Dr. Benedict.
Yeah, so I guess the best way to start, such a beautiful story, is probably around the late 70s. There was a renaissance of women who were trying to create legalization of specific modalities such as midwifery and acupuncture. So at that time, if they got caught, either helping with a birth at home or putting needles and treating a patient, they would get arrested. So it was a very, very interesting time to be wanting to innovate the industry. And the woman that was the pioneer mother She was the trailblazer that legalized acupuncture in the state of California in 1984, I believe, or was a woman named Miriam Lee. I don't want to say her real name was Chinese, and I don't want to butcher it, but I'm going to say people knew her as Miriam Lee. And what happened was she led the way, and she was, I think, the first licensed female acupuncturist in the state of California. But what was really cool was that it all kind of occurred in the Bay Area. So there was this huge collective of first generation healers and that wanted to practice East Asian medicine and wanted to also do acupuncture, and they worked very, very hard and officially made it legal in the state.
That's fascinating.
And it was birthed there, and Martha was certainly one of those people that worked with Miriam Lee. It was like a collective, and then they subsequently opened the first acupuncture school in the nation, and that was in San Francisco, and it was the ACTCM school, which American College of Traditional Chinese Medicine, and that was Miriam Lee's project too. But that woman, single-handedly trained the first generation of healers in our industry, and so we have a lot to be grateful for. That was a big time, and at the time they just weren't making herbal products. There just weren't nutritional supplements like these types, especially with Chinese herbs. And so at that time we had people like Martha and Michael Tierra and Roy Upton and Holly Guzman and all these leading generational people coming to the forefront and creating products for their clients. Is really exciting. And so Martha was one of those pioneers, trailblazers, and she started making products that she wanted to heal and problem solve all of her clients individually. And that's how it all began. So it's an amazing story about making huge strides in a short period of time.
It really is. I think the last time I looked on Wikipedia, acupuncture, I think has disparaging. I think to make they don't respect it. It's still
to this day.
Even herbs still seem a little.
Yeah, and just like you, educating people on the radio. I mean, that's really where it's been difficult. So
yeah, because the 70s are obviously many decades ago, and still to this day, we still want to get herbs out into the healing as a proper healing modality to our friends and family. It's something that I've used in my family. And we know that from that statistic, 30% of folks are using it. And then who knew that it was illegal to do acupuncture back in the day?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Oh, at least, am I aging myself? Because I feel like it was yesterday.
It wasn't that long ago.
Right. So Molly, please share what your experience is with this whole.
Well, just along those lines, I was recently at a continuing education course, and you give your acupuncture license number, to get your credit. And some of the people there had numbers in the, 200s. They're
Nice.
like, oh, your number, and so it's just interesting how, those people are still practicing and it's so new. And I think that people, as they learn about acupuncture and herbal medicine, are really grateful to have that as an option. But I do think that there is a lot of unknown, and I see it a lot in older people. They may be on a lot of medication and may be wary of, can I get acupuncture? Can I take herbs? Things like that. And, people that just are frightened by needles.
Mm-hmm.
These are not, you're not going and getting a shot. It's a very different experience. But I think that people have a lot of ideas that are not necessarily rooted in the actual experience of acupuncture or using herbal medicine.
It's really true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so here in the West, it's new, but obviously in Asia, it's not. It's been around for thousands of years.
It's so very old.
Right? It's so common.
But I just mean locally here in California. But yeah, it's a very trusted and very respected modality in other parts of the world.
Right. And what brought you two ladies to this world of herbs and acupuncture? How did it find you, or how did you find it?
Well, I had a friend who was an acupuncturist a long time ago in Los Angeles, and I think I was having some digestive issues, or I had hurt my neck. I think I saw her for both of those things. And she was like, come to see me. And I was like, sure. And it was great. And it was super helpful. And I felt always very curious. I would just not stop asking questions in my acupuncture sessions. And I always felt just I wanted to know more. And I just thought it was so cool. And so that's really what led me to becoming an acupuncturist. And I had moved to Santa Cruz from Los Angeles, and I had 2 young kids and was trying to figure out, okay, what's next? And in, true to myself, I made a list of all the things that I wanted to do, and going to an acupuncture school was really the number one. And then I just went on the internet, found there's a great acupuncture school here, and that is how I ended up
That's so
here
cool.
today.
I think a lot of people find natural medicine or become healers or in this practice because of their own complications or whatever. And what about
She's very humble. It's not an easy program, and she's an amazing
Well, you're a doctor. Should we address you as Dr. Mesa, not Miss Molly?
This is
thank you.
It's
pretty serious.
Quite a long journey, and it was super hard and super great, but absolutely challenging. And I think I have 4 kids now. I had 2 in the program, and there were several times towards the end where I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. But I was too deep, and so I did it. But it's absolutely, we're expected to know everything. We have to know in California specifically. I'm not sure about the other states because I'm licensed in California, but we are considered primary care practitioners. So we have to know both the traditional Chinese medicine and the Western biomedicine to pass our exams and all of that. And I was in school for 6 years.
Right. That's pretty legit. And I think that's really important for people to hear, because I think people hear things like herbalists and acupuncture or NDs, and they don't take it as seriously as maybe an MD. And I would just really want to honor that practice. And then I want to ask you, Sue, also, but I also want to know the interesting correlation between traditional Chinese medicine and the use of herbs. So it seems like that definitely goes hand in hand.
It's basically the same thing.
It is. Okay.
So in Eastern traditions, you'd be in a hospital. Martha trained in a Chinese hospital. She trained all over. But basically, imagine yourself in a hospital, and you have a problem, and they treat you with acupuncture, and then they specifically diagnose the things about your chemistry and your energetics and everything that's going on at the root. And then they write you a prescription, and they literally cook it, and it's just for you. It's not a prescription or synthetic that everybody gets. It's for you specifically. Then they cook it, and that's your medicine. So if you think about it, it's all in one. It's a practice. And so the challenge in our culture here in the Western world is to appreciate that tradition and explore that more, on allowing women like Molly, who are like warriors. Many of them are raising kids at the same time, husbands, or traveling, all the things, and they get out of school, and it's because it's not universally accepted industry in our healthcare system. It's going to be a little more challenging to educate, and then consequently accept insurance and have the ability to access herbs and prescribe their patients and clients with that kind of medicine. So we're working towards it,
Yeah, I'm really glad that you clarified that. I don't think I ever understood the correlation, because I've used Chinese herbs before, and I've definitely had acupuncture treatments. Yeah. I didn't realize that they
go very hand in hand.
Right.
And her office specifically is one that's dear to my heart, because her office is one of the first generation of acupuncturists that were part of the Martha era. So she's very fortunate. And she deserves it to be in a location with Holly Guzman, who's just a fantastic. I can't say enough good things about how skilled and talented and loving and compassionate and successful she is. And then to have this new generation of Molly and my other colleague who I absolutely love, Samaya Cullerton, and Maria, and these women in there that are going to be the next Marthas and Hollys and inspire the future. So we are at that point. And so it's exciting for me to watch, and especially because of my experience loving and finding acupuncture. It saved my life. So.
Do you want to dip into that
a little bit? I'll talk a little bit.
Just to share. Yeah. We could go on. Yeah, I don't want to ask you any personal questions.
I was in San Diego. I worked in development business and arts because that was my degree. And I worked in nonprofit most of my life. It's a very thankless job. And I wanted to just always constantly work because I wanted to feel like I was getting something done. And it never seemed to fulfill me in my heart. And so by like year 8 or 9, I was just like going home crying every day. I just felt really lost, and it was not a healthy time in my life. And I said, screw it. What do I get from this job? I get really good health benefits. And they had acupuncture on there, thank God, because if they didn't, I probably wouldn't have accessed it. And I found a woman down there in San Diego, and within 2 sessions, I quit my job. I left everything behind, and I just was ready for a new chapter because I knew that I wanted to work in the healing arts and help empower other people to heal their lives this way. And so I moved up to Santa Cruz. I had already known of Martha Benedict, and I had considered school, but I know how hard it is. And I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do yet, but I was studying herbs, and that's how I bumped into David Klemp, who's her husband.
Right, who's the owner? Because you're an owner as well.
Co-owner, yeah. He's still trucking. He's 84, and he's still doing it. He still loves to be a part, and he lives in Columbus, Ohio, with the rest of Martha's family, children, and their spouses and grandkids. So I'm here.
That's so cool. That's so great. Well, I know you guys have a massive following of practitioners, and now I really get that whole complete story. And I think one of the fascinating things about TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, and herbs, and naturopathic studies, and my field of nutrition, is that we like to get to the root cause. Is that something?
Absolutely.
Am I accurate in making that statement?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of our maybe modalities, we want to just do very acute topical treatments or symptom management. So can you share a little bit about the philosophy of getting to the root cause of things? Especially like immune systems coming up.
Yes.
So maybe
totally.
We can.
It's already here.
I know.
Yeah. It's definitely here.
It's 100% here.
So
get ready because we have some ideas for you. Okay.
Yes, we as practitioners really look at the individual. Every person, there may be one cold going around, and maybe everybody in the room gets this specific cold. But each person is bringing something else to the table as far as their constitution or what they're more prone to or ways that that sickness is going to influence them. And so we speak to the individual. Our appointments are very thorough where we ask lots of questions, we feel pulses, we look at tongues, and that's a way of diagnosing the individual person, and then we can give them the appropriate acupuncture treatment for them. Not every person is going to get the same points for the exact, they're not going to all present the same, and they will get an individual point prescription for themselves. And same with herbs. One person might have more of a wet cough, and another person may have more of a dry cough. And so we look into specifics, and then, that would be a virus kind of thing, but maybe someone comes in or a group of people come in and they're tired, tired throughout the day, tired when they wake up, these kinds of things. And we just really look at patterns. It's a pattern-based medicine. So we say, we do our thorough intake, and then we get an individual diagnosis and then treat the individual. And so sometimes we are treating something, maybe like with the cough, that's not their constitution, but we are also looking at, are they more susceptible to this type of thing, and supporting that. So getting to the root is really important, because the goal is not to get sick or not to have these things that flare up, not to get to the point where you're having a sore back every day. You want to maintain the good health rather than try to climb out of not feeling well.
Gosh, that sounds like a breath of fresh air, just to like do preventative care, right? Because I think we might be missing out on that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's something that I try to practice with myself. It's something I try to practice with my family. We all use herbs. Most of us use acupuncture. The little two aren't that into it yet, but they do. They all take herbs, and we just try to, because you can see, right? You can go to school and you can see, I hear a cough there, I hear a cough there. We're gonna boost the immune system, and Benedictine herbs are a staple 100% in my house.
I'm so excited to have you guys here. This is like one of my favorite topics, I think, is like plant medicine and herbs. And so when we get back with Sue George and Molly, Dr. Molly, let's talk some more about immune building herbs. Because that's something people can actually purchase over the counter. Through your beautiful website, and you have this gorgeous catalog that I have in front of me. And so we're going to take a quick commercial break, you guys, and this is Jill Trotterman on Feeding the Family, streaming from Santa Cruz Voice.
Knox Roofing. I do have some names to share with you that truly are important and distinguished. Names like GAF's Master Elite Contractor, Owens Corning Preferred Contractor, Duralast's Elite Contractor. What do all these titles have to do with you? It means when you hire Knox Roofing, you will be hiring the best in the roofing business. So call Knox Roofing. You won't be disappointed. Call Knox Roofing at 461-0634 anytime. Thanks, folks.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? Most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now, 800-471-4435. 800-471-4435. 800-471-4435. That's 800-471-4435.
Treehouse dispenses not only the finest cannabis products, but information to those who want to know how to use cannabis for maximum benefit. Hello, I'm Jenna. If you would like to know how best to use cannabis, ask your friends and neighbors at Treehouse Dispensary, 3651 Soquel Drive. If you're 21 plus with a valid ID, no appointment is necessary and the information is free. Order online at ourtreehouse.io and pick up at our drive-thru. See you soon.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Feeding the Family with Jill Trotterman. Hello, that's me. And I've got Sue George in the house and Dr. Molly Mesa. And like I said, I just love the topic of herbs because they grow all over our planet. And these medicines, we have cell receptor sites that resonate with these herbs. It's something that our body recognizes. We acclimate to it, and these specific herbs that we're going to talk about next have to do with different seasons. So certain herbs are good for different seasons. So would you like to share, Dr. Molly, about we're coming into the cold and flu season? Is that true? Do we even like to call it a season?
Well,
or not?
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It is.
It is cold.
Okay.
It is getting colder, and We think of caring for health and preparing to strengthen your immunity. That should start really in the summer when it's warmer, and it seems counterintuitive because, that's the summer. There's fun, but still things go around warmer, like strep throat's always going around in the summer, but you really want to strengthen and prepare yourself so that when these cooler months begin, you are already really at peak immunity, so that you're not getting ill early on, early in the season, and then struggling to get out of that and then just catching everything, right? So some of the things, eating well, eating warm cooked foods, really nourishing yourself throughout the year is very important. It's not just something to, oh, right, I see that something's going around, I'm gonna get ready now, so as it is getting colder, we do want to prepare nourishing foods and things that are seasonally appropriate. So, throughout the day, that could look like not going outside with wet hair, not going out when it's cold and you've just showered and you're soaking wet, and then your shirt is wet, and then you're getting chilled. And then you're all day long getting chilled, and then you go home at night and you accidentally sleep with the window open, and then you wake up with a cough, right? So these things that are just part of lifestyle things that you can be aware of are really helpful.
I always thought that was an old wives' tale, that you shouldn't go out without your jacket on, and that the kids are going to learn their lesson. But it's true, I guess, if you're wet. Because it's stressful.
What
if
some
you're
people
cold.
say, a Chinese medicine perspective, we take it pretty seriously.
Okay. Good to know.
The things like keeping your ankles warm and your low back warm and your neck, these are areas where cold can enter your body. So scarves, no ankle socks, like no flip-flops. It's really hard for Santa Cruz. Yes.
Pull my socks up here.
Yeah, well, just, you want to protect yourself.
And it's kind of intuitive, and we've kind of maybe put it like, oh, that's not really a big deal, but I guess it all adds up.
It does. And then if you combine that to maybe eating colder foods, like you really like salad, and you're grabbing a salad that's ready-made out of the fridge and eating that cold, and you're chilled from going out in your wet hair, it's kind of like you look at the whole picture. And so what can you control so that you can really have a strong, we call it the wei qi, that's the protective qi of your body to help protect you from illness, from cold.
And people know the word qi.
Yes.
That's
so
energy?
Qi is energy. Right?
Energy, okay.
Is a pretty basic way of it, but we've got lots of different types of qi. We've got qi that we get from nutrition. We've got qi that we're born with. We've got qi that protect. The wei qi is our protective qi. So there's different ways to strengthen that, but right now, with the changing of the seasons, I would really focus on the wei qi. I mean, all of it, right?
And we're not talking about cheese, we're talking about cheese. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Not cheese.
Because maybe too much cheese isn't good either.
Maybe not.
For like phlegm during the cold season.
Right. So things that are going to be really nourishing right now are things like pears. Those really support the lungs. And the herbs that we have, the Benedictine herbs, are great. There's a few formulas. There's the Immunity Plus formula for adults. There's also a kids line.
Right.
An Immunity, I think it's called Immunity Kids or Immunity Plus.
It's like immune boost or something.
Immune boost, yes. There's also the Elderberry Plus, and all of these are really good for just kind of ongoing immunity maintenance.
Okay.
And they're great. And things like tea, really warming, soothing. You want to have a nice, healthy gut, right? And so things like root vegetables and pumpkin and those fall spices that are nice and someone once explained to me the TCM way of thinking of digestion, and you think about the stomach as being a pot of 100-degree soup, and you want to keep the, whatever's going in, you want to make it as easy on your stomach as possible to digest. So warm cooked foods, not throwing, a bunch of iced drinks on there, because that's gonna, keep the soup from staying warm and getting cooked. So that's something to keep in mind. And I just really think, like, I'll have a nice matcha, but I will have it with some soup or let it get a little less ice or things like that, And
you'll make sure your body is warm.
And I make sure my body's warm. It's kind of like, it's not that, I can't do anything fun. I can't go out in my flip-flops, but it's like, okay, I went out in my flip-flops, but now I'm going to put on some warm, cozy socks and make sure that I don't get chilled. And I'm going to take my herbs, and I'm going to drink my tea.
Get good sleep.
Yes.
And lots of really good water.
Yeah, and all these things I think they all add up, because it's like a perfect storm sometimes, when it's not just the hair, it's not just the bad digestion, it's all of it together that you weaken or lessen your resilience to
Absolutely.
things, right? Sue, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's basically, it's very simple. You take care of yourself, and your stomach, your cauldron in there is really important, especially in this practice. But in general, like the stress in your stomach, it weakens the immune system. So you're going to want to take those calming herbs as well. Like, always focus on all areas of you, but remember, like, that stomach area at this time of year is really important.
It really is. Okay, so fermented food and these warming things, so warm foods, all the pumpkins and the orange root vegetables. What's in season, basically?
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
It's kind of like go
traditional.
with nature.
Exactly.
Right? So
simple.
It's intuitive, simple. And some of the good spices would be what? Like cinnamon, ginger.
Turmeric.
I was just talking with a colleague of mine, and she was like, if you think about it, pumpkin spice lattes make sense.
Yeah. Cloves are really good, too.
Like all those warming.
Yeah.
These are warming things.
Are really good for nourishing.
And some of these in your immune formula, do you want to just drop a couple like fun herbs for fun?
Oh, there's so many. We do a lot of fruiting body mushrooms, but the word that like I'm addicted to is adaptogens.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's like a fad word, but it's basically any herbs that create balance and support throughout your body based on your constitution. So they are really important, and I think that's a very good way to start if you're going to take herbal medicine, to start with adaptogens like your mushrooms like reishi and shiitake, and then there's some Chinese herbs in there, wuwezi, which is my favorite, one of my favorite ones, and it's Cassandra berry. It's very bitter and tart, but all these elements together is why Martha make these comprehensive formulas. They were kind of not really understood by just traditional acupuncture practitioners, because she had studied every type. She was a naturopathic doctor, and then she was an OMD, and then she was worked as an acupuncturist, and then she was studying tribal herbology and Ayurvedic herbology. So she realized that there were some balancing herbs in there that could amplify these traditional Chinese formulas. And so that's why you'll see things like a warming agent in our Shuanshan Lian formula, which is a very cold kind of, we call it the antibiotic of the Chinese formulas, right? But it would go into your stomach and it would just chill it, right? So you'd have, I feel like diarrhea and like cold stomach, and it was like yuck. Nobody wanted to take it, so she put in cinnamon and coriander and orange peel and avodia, and just she even added elderberry because it's more tasty. It's and that's the other thing is getting people used to the taste of like bitter herbs, because they are so good for you.
Right.
So I love all the, mushrooms are really big, and there's a reason, because they adapt to your body and they support your strength and your stress and all the things that you have to adapt to as you go through life, especially in our culture. So
Right, like
yeah.
ashwagandha.
I love ashwagandha and eleuthero and all of them.
All of those are great. So adaptogens. So working on the stomach, getting the digestive system really under control, and then building up with these good.
I say pick 5.
building herbs.
Pick five of your, you call them your allies, and you just work with those because there's so many. It can get confusing. So I'd say keep it simple at first.
Right, especially if you try to pronounce some of them. But people can understand the Latin ones, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Like rhodiola, people know aloe vera,
Yeah.
shiitake.
Well, we speak in
I
some
always say
Latin and
Schisandra, but
yeah.
Schizandra.
I think it's Schisandra. I can never say it right, but it's a bear. Wuwitsa. That's how I just know. Yeah.
Now, what about
yeah.
things like so Eleutherococcus and Astragalus and Echinacea? Should we take those herbs before you get sick, as Dr. Molly was sharing, or can you take those when you do come down with a cold?
I think you can do both, but
Okay.
I would recommend speaking with a practitioner if you're going to just use a single herb like echinacea, depending on your constitution. These are your people to talk to, that because it's not taught in the Western medical system. So, and it is a natural way, but sometimes a single can be a little bit overwhelming to your body. So that's why you'll see a complex formula and you'll be like, oh, there's so many herbs and I don't know. But they're actually harmonizing each other and there's less of each component. So it kind of goes in gradually and kind of harmoniously. Whereas a single herb can be it can be a lot for your system to take sometimes, depending.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a place for both. But
Yeah.
I think, it depends also how much do you want to take, right? So if you get sick, do you want to just focus on what you need to take? Like I take sort of my maintenance herbs, right? Whatever's going on with me at that time.
Right.
I'll take some herbs.
Like, what are some maintenance herbs?
Well,
can you just share?
The heart, blood, spleen is a great one. I
Oh,
take
yeah.
heart, blood, spleen.
Heart, blood, spleen.
That is like a really, I just think of it as like nourish.
Right.
It's a really nourishing to your blood, to calming to your heart, energizing. It nourishes your spleen to give you day-to-day energy. So that's something I take regularly. I am running around all the time. I get frazzled, I over.
Sure.
Are
you a normal person?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wait.
Like,
okay.
I have a lot to think of, and so my brain will get going, and my body will be going, driving all over Santa Cruz and things. And this is a really nourishing formula that I feel like helps support me through the day-to-day energy, helps quiet my brain a bit.
Totally.
And just, it's very uplifting to me.
Wow.
So that's something I take regularly. That would be like a maintenance thing.
Okay, and
But
it tastes great because they
it
gave me a
does.
sample of it.
It's delicious. And
Right.
I think that's one thing about the Benedictine line is the formulas really taste delicious.
Right.
And I mean, some more than others, but overall,
Definitely.
I get great patient compliance.
It
the
could be
product.
100%. I mean, this
Yeah.
could be a barrier to entry if you, because I've had traditional Chinese medicine where I had someone, a person I knew, he was an acupuncturist, and he made this great formula, and I was like, oh my God, like,
Right.
I don't think I can drink that. And I think a lot of people kind of stop there.
Right.
But Martha clearly was so brilliant that she got that. We could use the Western herbs to make things taste good.
Exactly.
Because otherwise people aren't going to do it.
What's really important is spreading it out to as many people that will appreciate it and then realize, oh, natural herbs, like herbs are food. I can just take this and feel good, most of the time. And then when
Right.
I really have an acute pathogen, I'll be stronger to deal with that.
Yeah, and I wish people would take herbs more seriously, that it really can combat so many of these health conditions that we do have, and take it more seriously than dealing with allopathic medicine only. Right? Because that's pretty much symptom, or I don't want to get into that, but right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it, just in terms of patient compliance, what we were talking about, like when you get sick, do you take all of this? I think kind of like Sue said, keeping it simple is good. I think especially when you're not feeling well, it can be really difficult to even just take the herbs that
Yeah.
that I know I need. You know, I'll be like, I feel lousy. I don't want to take this, but I know it will help me. You know, so I think just kind of lowering what,
Yeah.
you know, doing what's appropriate for you to get through that time. And, then
And
feeling
we're
a little better, getting back to the big routine, you know.
We're working harder and harder right now. The industry in and of itself wants to take care of each other, and so we're collaborating nationwide right now, and it's going to be good.
Tell me about that.
Tell
our listeners who are listening.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Your
I'm
vision,
a
essentially.
super acupuncture Chinese herb nerd, but
Yeah.
one of our main manufacturer, who's an amazing man, and he lives in Eugene, and he manufactures many herbal medicines, and he's been doing it for a long time. He and a series of founding members, including Benedictine, created an organization, and within less than a year, what we've been managed to do is kind of bring all of the state associations of acupuncture and all the big associations that kind of develop the schools and how the education and the outreach and the community education, so like the broader audience, and the legal side of it, like lobbying. And I think where we're headed is very quickly we'll start to see more integration of acupuncture and herbal medicine and universal healthcare. At least that's what I would really love, so that it makes it more accessible, you know, and not so confusing. And it's a big deal, you know. It's another Renaissance period where people are coming together as a collective, because we know that we do better when we're together and we're all friends. And this industry is just full of people who just really love to help and heal and educate. And I think that's basically all that all I've ever wanted to do too. So
That's terrific.
It's
I mean,
beautiful.
it's one thing to know that how great these things are, and these herbs have been used for thousands of years, and we've adapted to them. But there is, especially in
Division.
the United States, there's resistance from like the insurance companies, I would imagine, and
pharmaceutical companies, Western doctors, and
competition.
Well, it's complicated. I know a lot of doctors who love herbs and say, oh yeah, take some herbs. But then there's a lot that oftentimes they're not educated to advocate for herbs as well in their programs.
Right. And doing more studies, because I know, I used to do research for the Center for Nutritional Psychology.
Nice.
And I did it on herbs in particular.
Awesome.
And so there are studies, but not a lot. So I think that would help also that we could get you guys could get some funding from like the NIH.
Yeah. And it should be easier for people to feel safe and protected when they get out of college and spend all this money to become what they want to do, which is an acupuncturist. They will have more support as far as getting jobs and having access to lots of patients right off the bat. And then they'll be able to educate the true, authentic version of acupuncture, which is herbal recommendations, because they'll have a whole apothecary. And I would say Molly's office is one of those success stories, which she should be proud of a success story of an acupuncture clinic that has an apothecary. And they've been able to adequately educate and share that information. People are taking it, and they have all kinds of lines. I don't know. It's great.
Yeah.
So you guys work collaboratively, not competitively.
It's the only way I want to work from now on.
Yeah.
This is like a real renaissance, like you said. It's like a revolution in healthcare.
And I feel so honored that I can be in Santa Cruz, where this is really a mecca for the healing arts, for alternative medicine specifically. Like I told you, this is basically where everything kind of came together legally for acupuncture in the state of California. So just incredibly passionate, intelligent, wise, researched, just amazing people in that practice that are like renowned, and they're all here,
I see that, and I see that we are in a mecca. Maybe I take that for granted sometimes, because I suppose if you went to other parts of the country and you did want to get an acupuncture treatment and go to a fabulous apothecary, maybe it's not there. Is that true?
Hopefully more and more will pop up. I think they are around.
Yeah, I think as people are educated and learn about what's out there, the schools, my office is right next door to a school, and there are students, and they're,
right.
Some of them come. I had some colleagues at school that moved to Santa Cruz just to go to school and then moved back to their home state, and so it's growing.
Okay.
And I think education is a huge part of that, both specifically to become an acupuncturist or an herbalist, but also just seeing patients and talking to them. And, sometimes someone might come in and they don't want herbs, but then you say, okay, well, this is what I have. Just think about it.
Why? Do they already have a preconceived notion
I think
in their
some people
brain?
do. I think, cost can be a factor. I'll say for sure.
I see.
Especially right now.
Which is why we
Things are
want herbal
expensive.
medicine to be integrated into the universal
Yes.
health care where they
Yeah.
don't pay, out of pocket for this stuff,
100%.
It would be an amazing feat. And if we can accomplish that, we're going to do everything we can, which is, it's going to be hard. But when you work as a group of associations that dictate to keep the schools going, because
Wow.
if your students are getting out and they're not getting jobs, then there's less and less people saying, hey, this isn't the right time for me to go to college and become an acupuncturist. I just don't know how I'll be able to pay my bills, So it's important. Yeah.
So good. And what can you share with young families and how they can incorporate herbs into their lifestyle today? Some take-home messages.
Well, I think talking to your kids about it
Okay.
is great. Sometimes my kids are more into herbs or less into herbs, right? But most of the time they're pretty good about it. But I talk to them. I say, okay, well, this formula does this. We use the sniffles formula from Benedictine a lot.
Okay.
And, this is for when you've got the sniffles, right?
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, you can take this now or you can feel worse going forward, you can take this.
Sure.
And at the onset of your symptoms, and then hopefully it doesn't get worse, or when I'll give them the immunity formulas, your brothers are sick. I have all boys. So, one of them will go down first, right? So
Right.
the other ones, I'm like, okay, here you go.
Start
Immune
'em early,
support. Like,
moms.
you see that one?
100%.
You don't want that,
Right.
And just
And
teas,
parents, too.
right? Like, I'll make them teas with
Yeah.
herbs at home, or and I take them, they see me take them.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll ask questions, and talking to them about it is great.
Yep.
And they'll see, I have loose herbs in jars at home, and they'll see me making different, topicals or teas or whatever. And I think just exposing them
Yeah.
to that. And
Yeah.
I do have the luxury of bringing them into my office, which I'm
Nice.
so grateful to be a part of. And my littles, every time they come in, they sit at the tall chairs in front of the big herbal cabinet, and they want to see, okay, I want that one, and we'll talk, okay, that one does this and that one does this, and you see how that one looks like that,
Right.
And so I think just talking to them and incorporating it into your life, like food, right?
Yeah.
We talk about food,
Sure.
we talk about nutrition. That's a big part of it,
And kids want to know, I think.
They are,
They're so inquisitive.
they
Yeah.
love nature so
Yes.
deeply, and it's interesting. Like I'm seeing it more and more, and obviously Santa Cruz is just really ahead of the game as far as moms using herbs and taking herbal medicine and getting it for their kids and starting them early. But like for anybody listening in the state, anywhere in the country right now, it's so important to just start simple, but like integrate it because they love it, and it teaches them that earth and nature is just so calming and balancing, and it'll get them into a routine. I mean, it's a great time to discover how you connect with earth. It's so, to me, it's therapy and wholeness, all just being out in the garden or helping your mom, plant a few herbs or plants, I'm a beekeeper, so I that's my, some people have a green thumb. I do not. I have a bee thumb. But it just gets me into a zone of like being with Mother Earth and just really appreciating my life and simple things like that, which bring you joy. And joy brings you healing.
It certainly does. And I like the connection to nature. I think that's what our society is missing a lot, and we're
Nature.
yearning for it, especially with our youth and the kids are sick. Like the statistic right now is like 54% 4% of our kids have a chronic illness.
I know. Like, I mean,
That is crazy town. But with that, I just want to leave everybody on a really positive note that there are so many wonderful healing modalities out there, including traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, the Benedictine herbal lines. They have, 20, 30 formulas and
it's
oils and salves, and they're coming up with new things.
Call me, I'll hook you up. Samples.
Your website is benedictineherbs.com.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful to have you both here.
Thank you so much.
I'm
for
so
having
happy that we
us.
could come. You're awesome.
Thank you. And to learn all about these great herbal formulas, like I totally geek out on all these things. Like, I don't know all of them, of course.
I mean, there's so much we can teach people about acupuncture. We could be here all day, like night, and
maybe
the next day.
Maybe one day we'll have you back and we can do deep, like educational dives into like 5 key herbs and really do like a science-y talk. Because this is kind of like an over.
And by the way, needles are not scary. Like
not.
they don't hurt. Like I know a lot of people too. That was funny that you brought that up, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's just whenever people hear, or connect when they hear needle or connect when they hear herbal medicine.
Right.
I think we're
We're
here to change that perception.
That is so good. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Stay here for 1 second. I just want to share. So go to their website and visit Molly. Do you have your own website aside from
I do have my
Benedictine?
own
So why don't you
website.
share that so people can get in touch?
It is acupuncturewithmolly.com.
Okay, acupuncturewithmolly.com.
Yes, and you
Yeah, get closer to your mic.
Oh,
so I know it's kind of in and out.
acupuncturewithmolly.com. You can also schedule from my website or my
Perfect.
phone number's on there. I'm happy to schedule.
Love it.
by
And
phone.
right on. You guys are so awesome. So hang on tight. I just wanted to share a couple things. Again, this is Jill Trotterman with Feeding the Family on SantaCruzVoice.com. I've already mentioned that a couple times because we are streaming live around the whole planet, which I just think is super cool. It's like the evolution of radio. And with that, I also wanted to extend an invitation to visit my website, which is SantaCruzHolisticNutrition.com. And I would love to be of service to people doing counseling, and I have a bunch of classes coming up. And my next series is a 6-week series. It's going to be about the food tree, holistic nutrition and wellness curriculum. It's the 101 series. So it's going to be super basics about the 3 macronutrients, which includes my 5 food groups, which are proteins, whole grains, healthy fats, fruits and vegetables. And then the 6th class, we're going to talk about incorporating all those. And I'll also dabble a little bit into what I call nutrition vampires. So I encourage everybody to sign up for those classes. And they are starting, let me see, October 23rd. So that's coming up next week.
Awesome.
So let's fill up those classes. And again, everyone have a fabulous day.
Thank you.
And thank you to Benedictine
Blessings,
Herbs.
everybody.
All right, lots of love to everybody.
Love,
Peace
love.
out. Peace out, Santa Cruz.
Yeah.